Today we're diving into torture methods so brutal, you'll be grateful you were born in the era of Wi-Fi. Let's get into it. The White Room Torture, when silence becomes the weapon. Picture this. You open your eyes and you see nothing but white, a blinding, endless white that swallows the edges of the room and makes it impossible to tell where the walls end. The floor is white, the ceiling is white, the bed, the clothes they force on you, even the food. Everything is stripped of color, texture, and meaning. There are no windows, no shadows, no faint hum of AC, no footsteps in the hallway, just a suffocating, unnatural silence so complete that you can hear your own heartbeat echoing inside your skull. This is the White Room, a place where torture doesn't come from physical pain, but from the collapse of your senses. Humans are built to interact with sound, light, texture, temperature. Without it, the brain starts to malfunction. At first, you try to keep your mind busy. Maybe you talk to yourself. Maybe you pace in circles. Maybe you sleep. But without light changes or clocks, your body no longer knows day from night. Minutes stretch into hours. Hours stretch into days. And soon, time stops making sense. Then the hallucinations begin. Because when the brain has no input, it starts creating its own. You hear voices whispering from corners that don't exist. You see flashes of movement even though the room is empty. Some prisoners report feeling insects crawling under their skin, or hearing loud bangs that seem to shake the room, even though nothing changed. Others start crying without knowing why. Some laugh uncontrollably. Some lose their ability to speak, because the silence becomes too loud. The most terrifying part? This method leaves no physical mark. No bruises. No scars. Just a mind that slowly unravels until the prisoner can't trust their own senses. The White Room proves something chilling. You don't need violence to destroy a person. All you need is nothing. The scold's bridle. The torture that silences your identity. Imagine being labeled a problem simply because you spoke too freely. Not because you committed a crime. Not because you were dangerous. But because someone decided your voice was inconvenient. That was enough to sentence people, especially women, to the scold's bridle. This device wasn't a simple mask. It was a fully enclosing metal cage strapped around the head, locked tight so it couldn't be removed. Inside it was a metal plate or spiked bar that forced its way into the victim's mouth, pressing down on the tongue, making speech agonizing or impossible. The message was simple. Your words have consequences, and those consequences belong to us. But the real cruelty wasn't physical. It was psychological. Victims were paraded through town so everyone could stare, mock, or throw things at them. They couldn't speak to defend themselves. They couldn't cry out. They couldn't lower their head because the metal dug deeper into their mouth. All they could do was endure the shame and humiliation as their dignity was stripped away piece by piece. Hours felt like days. Days felt like years. The pain wasn't in the steel. It was in the forced silence. The scold's bridle wasn't just a punishment. It was a message from society. Your voice is not your own. This method shows that sometimes torture isn't about breaking bones. It's about breaking identity. The coffin torture. Standing between panic and exhaustion. Now imagine a cage shaped like a human body, but slightly smaller. Too narrow to move your shoulders. Too short to stand fully upright. Too tight to sit or bend your knees. The moment you're locked in, you realize that you can't find a single position that doesn't hurt. This is the coffin torture. The slow suffocation of the body through exhaustion. Victims were placed inside and left outdoors, exposed to the weather, the crowds, and their own growing panic. At first, the discomfort is tolerable. But after an hour, your legs start shaking. Your back begins to ache. Every muscle in your body begs for relief, but there's nowhere to shift. Nowhere to lean. Nowhere to rest. Then comes the fear. Your breathing changes. Your heart rate spikes. Panic sets in because your body is locked in a fight with itself. Every second becomes a negotiation. Just hold on a little longer. But your muscles aren't built for this. They start trembling violently. Your knees feel like they're melting. Your head sways. You try to stay conscious because fainting while standing means your weight collapses in a way that twists your limbs inside the cage. People walking by stare. Some laugh. Some spit. Some look away because they know they could be next. Hours turn into a battle between mind and body. Moments stretch into a nightmare of pain, breathlessness, dizziness, and terror. The cage doesn't kill you fast. It slowly pushes you to the edge of physical and psychological collapse, until even the idea of moving feels impossible. The coffin torture didn't rely on blood or blades. Its cruelty was simple. It trapped you inside your own failing body. The iron chair, the throne nobody wanted. Imagine a massive metal chair sitting in the center of a cold stone room. It looks like a throne at first glance. Tall back, wide seat, thick armrests, solid legs. But the closer you get, the more you realize it's wrong. Very wrong. Every single inch of the chair, the seat, the arms, the back, the legs, is covered in hundreds of cold, sharp metal spikes. Not long enough to pierce through you like weapons, but long enough to dig into your skin and sit against your nerves. This wasn't a chair. It was a psychological battlefield. The victim is forced onto the chair and strapped down tightly. Wrists, ankles, chest, shoulders, every point of contact pushing them deeper onto those hundreds of needles. Nothing cuts deep enough to cause major bleeding, but every movement becomes punishment. Even breathing is dangerous. When their chest rises, the spikes push in. When their chest falls, the spikes scratch back out. And here's the horrifying part. The torture doesn't come from the spikes themselves. It comes from time. At first, the pain is sharp but tolerable. You try to sit very still, thinking maybe you can endure it. But after minutes pass, and then hours, your skin starts to burn. Your muscles lock from tension. Your body tries to adjust instinctively, searching for a comfortable position, but there isn't one. Every angle has a new set of spikes waiting. Now add heat. Some versions of the iron chair were heated with fire underneath, slowly warming the metal. Not enough to burn the skin outright, just enough to make the metal hotter and hotter and hotter. Victims described it as a slow, creeping warmth that never stopped climbing. Not fire, not boiling, something worse. A heat that felt alive, breathing against your skin, waking up every nerve ending. The mind breaks before the body does. You panic, but you cannot move. You sweat, but the sweat makes your skin slide against the spikes. Your body trembles, but trembling only pushes you deeper. It's torture through inevitability, not violence. This chair didn't kill you quickly. It waited, patiently, for you to break yourself. The iron chair was a reminder that sometimes the scariest thing isn't a weapon, but having nowhere to run inside your own body.